Good afternoon, everybody. It is Andrew here for Central Illinois Weather. Today we're going to be talking about the potential for some severe weather across the plains and into maybe even the Midwest later this week. Day 4 we have a severe weather risk. Day 3 we have a severe weather risk. No severe weather tomorrow. There's a good environmental space, but no storms are expected to form in it. And we have a small chance for some severe storms today as well. SPC-wise today, we have 3 different areas of severe weather possible. One kind of southwest of DFW, another in Florida, and another in the High Plains. The High Plains one has a slight risk that is going to be driven by wind and hail. No real tornado chances today. Tomorrow, no severe weather is expected. Day 3, severe weather expected. SPC thinks it's going to be more of an elevated event. I strongly disagree. I think there's going to be some tornado potential. In my honest opinion, I would throw a slight down. But that is just their opinion. Now, here's a look at what we could be looking at later today. We're going to look at the HRRR really briefly here. Nice little intense supercell there at the end of the run. But, here's kind of a look at what we're going to be seeing. Today, a few supercells could form in South Dakota, North Dakota, and bring a large hail threat. Looking at some forecast soundings from the area, you can see the hodograph is very favorable for tornadoes, but you have a 25-degree temperature spread at the surface, which will kind of sublime that and make it more alpha low dominant type storms. I don't know why there's a clear thing on my thing, but whatever. Looking a little bit later, we could see a few intense supercells even in North Dakota, Canada today. These will be, there's some non-zero tornado potential with these storms, actually. We had a 22Z before they really start strengthening. There is some non-zero tornado potential. It is a bit elevated and the surface instability isn't great, but can't rule out a tornado in North Dakota or southern Canada today, so don't be surprised if we see 1 or 2 tornado reports up there today. As we're kind of moving into tomorrow, no real severe weather is expected. Maybe a few strong storms in like South Dakota, maybe. Environment favors a couple isolated wind gusts or instances of large hail. These will carry... Oh, wow. Okay, HRRR is pretty intense with some overnight thunderstorms across South Dakota. We can see these kind of really start to form up in the High Plains region tomorrow. Big old hodographs, nice elevated storms with multiple supercells firing like a Kaga line type thing. These would be large hail to very large hail producers. As they move up northeastward, one of them gets a very intense UH track in Minnesota there. And again, very large hail is possible with these storms. They even last all the way into 12Z. And yeah, take a look at that. That's probably the warm front lifting north. There's going to be a favorable environment for severe weather later on in the day, kind of in just general region as well. Let's take a hop over and look at the NAM 3 kilometer really quickly here. We're going to look at it for today. A couple stronger storms are going to be possible in the morning across Iowa tomorrow, with showers spreading into Illinois over in the afternoon hours. The 3K solution is remotely different. Oh, it's actually pretty similar to the NAMs. I think we're going to get a severe weather risk added in South Dakota and Iowa tonight, or for today, later today, for kind of this action. It's going to be elevated hailers. They move on and end up producing more hail up in Wisconsin. Then the real stuff starts developing right around 0Z. We have a couple supercells try to fire in this general area. If we go on to the IR satellite feature, you can see the general stuff a lot better. We have a couple intense supercells starting to develop. This could be an overnight situation where we could see some tornado potential. Looking at this photograph, it's definitely going to be favorable. The thermodynamic chart is a bit stable, but it's not elevated quite yet. You can see it goes close to that line, but not there. Now, the problem is your low-level lapse rates are rather poor, but looking at kind of your overall environment, it's not terrible. Could see some stronger storms even up to Wisconsin, Minnesota if they initiate. Looks like some kind of boundary forms. Here's a box sounding. This is very favorable for large to very large hail and damaging wind gusts, along with the tornado threat as well. You need a little bit more low-level turning, though. Could be some sort of severe threat even into Kansas. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Lots of instability again at play. I don't think you're going to get storm initiation down there, though. Here's a look at the regular NAM model. That's the 6Z run, what about 12Z? So, models are depicting some sort of severe potential across a large area on Wednesday, from the southwest Texas region all the way up into the Midwest. Somewhere in here could see some sort of severe potential. Let's first dive into the Southern Plains region, as there's a 15% risk of severe weather over there. Let's go right here. So, looks like large to very large hail is going to be a threat right off the bat. Yeah. Big hail. Looks like there's also going to be potential for some stronger storms up into the Midwest region and Wisconsin here. Maybe we get an MCS complex to form, and if that does happen, we'll probably see some pretty favorable environmental spaces for some significant wind gusts. Here's over here in kind of the area where there's no forcing and there's not much shear. You see photographs are not the best. 21Z we should, yeah. Max instability happens along a triple point, kind of right there. Do we have any initiation on the NAM? Little bits of it. Let's see, 0Z. Little bits of initiation occur on the NAM. Here's a look at what the GFS has over the next few days. Here's tomorrow. Looks like we get some sort of storm initiation on Monday. Transitions into storms in Oklahoma, Texas on Tuesday. More storms across the plains on Wednesday. On Thursday. And then Friday, some sort of stuff in the Midwest. And then we can see kind of that pattern just keep on going with some interesting storm systems that kind of power across the United States. Ooh, that would be a nice outbreak if that actually happened. This here, 3:30, but that's not going to happen. Here's a look at what the UK Met shows. Here's for 0Z with this, and that's a pretty interesting look, except there's no moisture because of a tropical system that's out here, sucking it all up from the Gulf. There's no moisture along that dry line. Let's just see how good the photographs are in Colorado. Oh, that would still produce tornadoes, so we don't need that. That would actually be a pretty nice tornado producing environment if the UK Met was to be correct, but it's not correct that often. Some severe potential as well. This is the day 5 period. Nice look at some instability there. Okay, so here's that Texas stuff the SPC went 15% on. Not very great. More hail environment more than anything. Looks like again, yep, an MCS environment up in the Midwest. Is there any precip with that? There is. It's further north, though. The Canadian overall shows, again, another favorable pattern for some severe weather across the United States. So it's bits and bobs of the stuff. Let's just go hour 72. So there's potential for severe weather, again. Looking at that. Not the best environment ever. Here is this day where we could see severe weather. Here's the general 500 millibar pattern. I would expect on a day like this severe weather to be kind of in here, and then kind of on this leading edge of the ridge in here as well. So there's going to be a couple spots to watch with this. I'm going to guess the Euro has something pretty similar. Why do I have 2 tabs of the GFS open? Euro has a favorable look for severe weather on Tuesday. Very favorable look. If we take a look in Iowa there, a few supercells fire off the Euro, and we get a favorable look for tornadoes. This is probably the most favorable setup is the Euro solution. Looking at that 500 millibar, you can see it's pretty classic that you would see severe weather. You can see the trough ejecting inwards, and this area would be the area to play. There's the 0Z run. It's pretty similar. Going out to Wednesday, we could see, again, severe weather looking like it. Nice little high pressure ring of fire pattern sets up, and you get storms to fire off. We get an MCS to fire off in Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota. We get another complex of storms to fire off down here. These are going to be the areas to watch. Then MCS dives southward into portions of Illinois as well with the Euro solution. So I think we're probably going to get a marginal across the Midwest. And we'll probably also get a, we'll probably keep that slight down there in the Texas region, as severe weather will still be a possibility. We're going to check up on the hodograph map now for Texas region. Here's where they put the 15% at. They might honestly downgrade this, as models aren't looking great for that area sounding wise. It doesn't look great synoptically, it doesn't look terrible, but there's not the best shear down there. They probably just did that because models are showing reflectivity. That's probably why you're getting a 15% there instead of up in the Midwest, where the environment is better suited for severe weather. Strong 70s dew points along a strong instability gradient will get you an MCS. That's what it looks like in front of that MCS environment. Classic, like, kind of MCS environment there. Lots of instability ahead. Portions of Kansas look like this. General environment in northeast Iowa, northwest Illinois, and southwest Wisconsin, into southeast Minnesota looks like this. Very favorable for MCS type of events. We can see thick amounts of instability in here, along with sufficient amounts of upper level shear into the lower levels. We can't rule out a tornado risk as well if this solution happens. I don't know if the SPC actually mentions it, but here's their day 4 outlook. So they were considering to adding a risk, but they think capping is going to eliminate the potential for storms, which is a reasonable take. There are models that do show storm development, though. And the Euro shows a pretty good MCS complex here, diving all the way into central Illinois, and it actually lives into kind of the St. Louis area. If this solution were to happen, it goes from, what does it start? It starts at 18Z, or just a little bit after 18Z, and goes to about 12Z in Missouri. Let's see how many flashes it has at its peak. I think that would be right here somewhere. What about 60? Lots of flash density. 6 flashes there. Another area with 3. So pretty intense storm complex that the Euro ends up firing off here. If this solution were to happen, we would probably have a pretty interesting severe weather event on our hands. We can see those dew points get streamed in there, mid-70s along that front. Overall, though, it looks like there's going to be other days that we could see severe weather with next week. Here's a kind of a general look at the 500 millibar pattern. We can kind of depict stuff with that. Today it's pretty easily to depict the northern plains at risk. Tomorrow it's pretty easy again to depict the northern plains. Pretty easy to depict the Midwest with Tuesday. Pretty easy to depict 2 areas with kind of this riding the hot air. Another thing to mention is that it's going to be very warm across the Midwest next week. Very warm and muggy. Dew points in the 70s. Temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s. Looks like on Wednesday there's not really going to be much severe weather potential across the United States. Maybe across the northern plains or somewhere in here. Maybe. But it's going to probably really not be much severe potential with there. This is when severe weather potential is generally possible, around 144 across the plains, but we have moisture concerns because of a tropical system that tries to develop. The Euro goes all in, though, and shows a lot of moisture pooling with 70 dew points across the high plains. But we do get this like tropical low to form. But the Euro has a very significant environment out here with that system. You get high 60s, low 70s in a lot of areas, and then it kind of transitions into the next day being a pretty muggy MCS-like setup and being a significant storm in Canada. And looking at that 500 millibar look, that's a classic high plains outbreak if this scenario would happen 500 millibar wise up in here. We're gonna look at the GFS and see if it's remotely similar. And the GFS is more progressive like normal, but it actually looks pretty similar. And yeah, the GFS is favorable for a High Plains outbreak too, so we're going to have to really watch that. Similar profiles, more skinny cape though. We're going to see if the UK, we were looking at the UK Met earlier. It has the system being a lot more slower and being more of a four corners type deal. Let's look at the Canadian 144 and see what it looks like. And it's, again, looking similar to the GFS solution. So I think... Oh, that is not looking similar to the GFS solution. Okay, there it is. We're probably going to get some sort of severe event somewhere in here on Thursday. It'll just really depend where. But that will do it for this one. We're going to have periods of severe weather across the United States over the next few days. SPC has outlined multiple areas of potential. And we'll see y'all in the next one. Make sure to stay safe. And, yeah, we'll see y'all in the next one.